Michael Moses, and I'm here today to tell you how to enjoy the wonderful sport of mountain biking as safely as possible. Today I'm going to give you tips on gear selection, climbing, downhilling, and post-ride nutrition that'll have you well on your way to getting on a bike safely and enjoyably as quickly as possible. Come take a ride with me today.
Alright, so today we're going to talk about a few things. We'll be discussing 6 aspects of mountain biking, ranging from proper gear choices to bike handling skills to post-ride nutrition. After each section, we'll do a recap quiz to reinforce your knowledge, and at the end of the presentation, we'll do a comprehensive test to ensure that you've absorbed the knowledge you need to safely hit the trails. Alright, so Step 1, we have the essential gear here that will ensure that we can safely get ourselves through the mountains and back home again in one piece. So first off, we have proper eye protection. This is really useful not only to reduce the glare from the sun, but also to protect you from bugs, dust, and dangerous rocks that could hit your eyes while you're riding at high speed. Alright, secondly, we have water. In the warmer months, I can drink as much as a liter every 30 minutes. So on longer rides, refills are necessary. Number 3, we have a phone here to ensure that we can contact someone in case of emergency. I like to keep it in a Ziploc bag to protect it from the dirt and moisture on the rides. Number 4, well, it goes without saying, we need a helmet. Number 5, we have gloves. In the winter, it's too cold to ride without them, and in the summer, hands get too sweaty to grip the bars without them as well. 6, snacks, very important. Keep your energy levels up by eating something every half an hour. Numbers 7, 8, 9, and 10 are the multi-tool, spare tire inner tube, tire lever, and portable pump. These tools are very important to make repairs and adjustments to the bike so that we don't find ourselves stranded on the trail. And last but not least, make sure that you have someone who cares about you at home, who knows where you're going in case you get injured and you can't make it back. Alright, so let's see, can you remember all of the different gear items that we've discussed? Let's see, what was gear number 1? Yes, it was the eye protection, the sunglasses. What was gear number 2? The water. Number 3. The phone. Number 4. Helmet. Number 5. Gloves. 6. Snack. 7. Multi-tool. 8. Spare tube, 9. Tire lever, 10. Portable pump, and 11. Supportive girlfriend. Alright, good job. Let's move on. Alright, step 2, climbing skills on a steep grade. So, okay, this is a scenario in which the grade is very extreme. And watch as I keep my chest low and forward. I'm almost touching the handlebars. This keeps the weight over the front wheel, preventing it from wandering side to side. Also, notice how my butt is moved forward with the nose of the saddle resting uncomfortably up my rear end. This position may seem uncomfortable at first, but provides a great compromise between the torque provided from a standing pedaling position and the rear wheel traction we have while we're seated. So important things to remember: chest low and forward, and the saddle nose where the sun don't shine. Let's take one more look. Okay. Alright, so now let's take a look at some climbing skills. Now we have a situation where the climb is less steep, but it contains several roots and logs that the rider needs to get over. So here I'm going to lurch my body forward, which is connected to my bike through special shoes and pedals. I'm going to lurch up and over each of these roots. Here's one. See the lurch? Two. And one more. Okay. So, if you look here, it's actually two steps that comprise this technique. In step one, I pull up and then push forward on my handlebars, bringing my front wheel up and over the obstacle. Then, now that I have my front wheel over the log, we need to get the rear wheel across. We can do this by actually jumping our body forward. Since my body is actually attached to the pedals via my special cleats, it feels like I'm pulling the pedals up and forward, jumping almost. This unweights the rear wheel, allowing it to pass freely over the log or root. Take one more look as the lurch technique is used to clear successive root obstacles. Okay, let's take a recap of the climbing skills. Can you remember steep grade climbing conditions techniques? Okay, one of them is to keep our chest low and forward, and the other is putting our butt right on the saddle nose. How about obstacle climbing techniques? Well, it's the lurch technique. Step one is pulling the front wheel over the obstacle, via the handlebars, of course, and step two is pulling on the pedals, jumping the body forward. Alright, downhill skills, the fun part. Okay, so let's take a look at how we want to be positioned when we're riding a steep downhill trail. Remember how we wanted to keep our butt forward on the steep climbs? Well, the opposite is true on the descents. You want to keep your rear end as far back behind the saddle as possible. Okay, so here you can see that my rear end is actually very far behind the saddle, as indicated by the blue arrow. Also, another thing we want to remember is to not overuse the front brake. If we only use limited front brake and keep our weight back by moving our butt behind the saddle, we will drastically limit the probability that we will fly over the handlebars with disastrous results. Here is another image. See that my butt is very far behind the saddle. Okay. Now, another scenario. We have steep downhills with drop-offs and jumps. Now in this situation we want to use a technique called throw the bars forward. Let's take a look. Okay, so most new riders are frightened by drop-offs and jumps like these. Being airborne is scary, but this simple technique can keep you rubber side down. So I'm pushing the handlebars forward by first, step one, pumping the front shocks to preload. This means that before I hit the drop-off, I'm actually pushing the handlebars down and loading my front shocks for a spring action effect. Then in step two, I'm pushing the handlebars forward away from me, thus moving my body's weight backwards behind the saddle. This will keep the front wheel unweighted as it flies through the air, preventing it from dropping down and spilling me forward. Let's take one more look. Okay, let's take a recap of our downhill skills. In steep grade scenarios, what two techniques do we want to remember? Well, number one is we'd like to keep our butt behind the saddle. Number two, we'd like to use limited front brake. How about a drop-off or a jump scenario? Step 1, we want to push down on the front shocks to preload. Step 2, throw the bars forward to keep our weight back and our bike parallel to the ground as it flies. Alright, great job. Now, take a look as Mike and Dan show you how to use proper post-ride nutrition.
Great ride, man. Alright guys, we just finished up a ride. We're back at the Casa, and now comes a pivotal time period where complex metabolic processes are taking place inside of our bodies. The choices we make right now about what to eat and drink have direct impacts on our future performance. Isn't that right, Dan? Right. So with the diverse array of health products and wide array of vegetables and fruits available on the market today, choosing your post-ride beverage and food can be a real headache. However, for Dan and I, the choice is simple. It's not watermelon social. It's something refreshing, delicious, and nutritious to go relish.
Okay, so now that we've gone through the entire lesson, let's take a quick quiz. I'm going to show you some images of the various gear items and techniques that we've learned about. I want you to identify which column they belong in and also identify what they are. So let's go ahead. Number 1, what is this? This is essential gear, the portable pump. Okay, got the idea? Let's continue. This is a tasty beverage of your choice for post-ride nutrition. This is a downhill steep grade. We're keeping our butt back and using limited front brake. Next, this is the tire lever. This is a picture of the throw the bars, step 2, push handles forward for the downhill drop-offs and jumps technique. Alright, this is climbing obstacles condition, lurch step 2, pulling up on your pedals. This is actually 2 things. Can you identify both of them? Climbing a steep grade, we want to keep our chest low and forward and our butt on the saddle nose. Next, this is downhill drop-offs. Throw the bars step 1, pushing down to preload that front shock. Next we have climbing obstacles, lurch step 1, pull the wheel over the obstacle. Next we have the multi-tool. And finally we have the spare tube. Yes, how did you do? Great job everybody. I want to give a credit to Bensound's royalty-free music, and if you have any questions or concerns about the presentation, feel free to contact me anytime. Bye bye.